James in South Carolina is on Pronouncer EM. Let's talk about original sin a little bit. Welcome, James. You're on with Justin and Matt.
Hey, James. How's it going? James?
Are we there? Did we lose James? I'm going to put James back in the queue. I think I might have lost call-in studio here. Bloop.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. I'll get James back. James in South Carolina, you're live on the air. How are you?
Hey, Matt, Justin, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to discuss the validity of original sin. The theists claim through, Adam and Eve and the talking snake and the apple. That's why humanity does all the awful things it does. Murder, rape, suicide, cannibalism, genocide, etc. But what explains why other animal species do the same thing? And are they committing original sin?
I don't think. I mean, if I was arguing from a theist perspective, I wouldn't say so. I would say that if you believe Genesis was literal, that God created Adam to have dominion over the animals. So there's different rules and different parameters that's placed on humankind, and due to Adam and Eve's conduct in the Garden of Eden, original sin is a curse that is laid upon us humans. So I'm not sure if I was coming at it from their perspective. I'm not sure that would be something that would apply to the animal kingdom as well.
Well, and that's my point. So, I mean, I don't subscribe to original sin anymore. And, you've got, the theists would say that sexual sin, homosexuals are a sin and abomination and all that nonsense. But yet you've got 450 other animal species documented.
Yeah, I need to. So, James, you're forcing me to put on my Jesus hat. So I will put it on. Going back to when I was a Southern Baptist fundamentalist Christian, the answer is no other animal is bound by a covenant that has anything to do with sin. And from a Christian perspective, human beings are not an animal. They are special creations of God. They're the only ones that have consciousness, and in that regard, and the only one that sentience, consciousness, we get into some mess, but they're the only ones that have any sort of duty or responsibility to God. They're the only ones who could have the cognitive abilities to appreciate the law and be held accountable to the law. So while dolphins engage in sexual assault, that's not a sin. And so when you ask, why isn't this that way for the other animals? It's because the other animals, as Justin was pointing out from Christian perspective, are here for us to subdue and shepherd and use for our purposes. They don't do wrong because they don't have souls that can be bound to sin and understand the law. And whoa, I feel gross putting that hat back on.
Seems like to me that evolution would explain it a lot better than the Bible does.
Oh yeah. But and then even me putting my Jesus hat back on, if I were then to go grab my evolution hat, which I don't have handy right here, the response to what I said, just since we're here to teach people that, is if the other animals don't have this problem of sin or anything else, then how is it that there's a serpent who God cursed to walk on his belly forever for doing what God didn't want? And the serpent used to be able to talk, evidently, and can't now. So
right.
It's just a kind of a, if you're going to go to the Bible and say, ooh, why is this the case? Well, you can make up whatever shit you want within reason.
There's the added aspect that from an evolutionary standpoint and point of view, we are a part of the animal kingdom. There is no separation of a special form of primates, which we are, in the rest of the entirety of the animal kingdom. So But again, that's just looking at it from maybe my point of view, or coming at it from evolution, like you were talking about.
Yeah, well, I understand that. You understand that, but I think we do what we do from evolution, and to say that we're sinners as humanity and animals aren't, yet they do the same things we do, is absurd to me. For 50 years, I was a believing Christian. And a few dozen times I went to church. I didn't go regularly, but I believed it wholeheartedly. And then this last year, I spent 60, 70 hours a week studying religion and evolution, and wow, the atrocities in the Bible, it was enough for me not to believe it. And it boggles my mind that all these theists out there that can ignore all this stuff.
It's not just ignoring. I mean, I spent a lot it's one of the reasons why I really was hoping that we'd get, rather than a couple of theist callers that, weren't remotely trying to be serious. I was hoping we could have better conversations and defenses, because like I've said many times before, when I stopped believing in God, my IQ didn't go up. I might've been colloquially smarter for not believing something for bad reasons, but when I was still a believer, it wasn't, I bought into the story, and in part because it feels good to think that you are the special creation of a God who loves you, even when nobody else does, who has, a plan, wants the best for you, wants you to succeed. When you're told all these positive things, and then when you add in, that your disobedience from this God is going to damn you to hell and everything else, you have massive incentives to stand up for anything within that religion until it is just absolutely disproven. If religions are good at anything, the ones that survived are good at building defense mechanisms such that the adherents who accept those things aren't going to give them up until you either prove that the claim is false or teach them about epistemology so that they understand that the burden of proof is on the person claiming that these things are true, not the ones that are false. Because if you believe unfalsifiable claims,
right,
you will hold on to them forever until somebody shows you why holding on to unfalsifiable claims is a bad idea, as long as there's any benefit at all. And that benefit can be as small as, now I don't have to say and admit that I don't know what the answer is. So let's not pretend. Theists aren't stupid, and they're not especially gullible. And while they don't have sound epistemological reasons to believe what they believe, they have, and I'll put this in air quotes, good reasons from their perspective.
right.
And it's not just how do they not see this? Because religions are really good at hiding it.
Well, good reasons don't necessarily mean good evidence. I mean,
That's true.
If more theists were willing, if more theists were willing to take off their rose-colored glasses for a minute and set them aside and look at the evidence and the facts and be honest with themselves, instead of thinking that they're special and they're averting hellfire and they're special and they're going to heaven, if they'd be a little more honest with themselves, they might change their perception on some of the things that are taught.
Yeah. And that's the reason why we do what we do. Well,
you certainly educated me quite a bit. You and Hitchens and Bart Ehrman and a number of people. So anyway, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to touch on that original sin thing. And,
thanks for being here.
Keep up the good work.
We will definitely try to.